Hey there, Carnage Cravers! Welcome back to Carnage Corner for another episode of KKWR. We're going to go over everything that has gone on this week in the WWE, as well as talk about the WWE pay-per-view Hell in a Cell from the SmackDown brand, which will be on this Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit about what to expect from that. The first thing I want to do is I want us to we're going to have ourselves a moment of silence for the victims of the shooting in Las Vegas. I don't get political on this channel, but there's nothing political about taking a moment of silence for innocent people who have died. So we're going to do that for just a moment now. Thank you for joining me. Alright, so we are going to start with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw opened up with a moment of silence, very much the way we did, with the entire roster taking their moment up on the stage, which is nice. The WWE has always been very, very good at bringing people together and doing the right things when tragedies happen. WWE, has always been really good with that. So, but going into the actual show, the first match of the evening was Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman. It was a it was a good match. It was very much designed to make Seth look like like the fighter with a lot of heart and make Braun look like the unstoppable monster, and they did that, and they did it well. Braun getting the win as Braun should. They need to keep building Braun. I don't know why the hell they had him lose to Brock Lesnar in the first place. Did anybody actually want to see Brock win that match? I mean, isn't everybody sick and tired of Brock Lesnar by this point? I mean, I am, I don't think it's okay for anybody to get paid millions of dollars to show up one day a week, if that. So, yeah, I'm kind of tired of Brock Lesnar. That being said, all right, after Braun wins the match, he picked Seth up and slammed him again, and then, he went to leave, turn around to come back. Dean Ambrose comes down to try and save Braun, and Dean gets squashed as well. And when Braun leaves, the Bar comes out, and they take their cheap shots at Seth and Dean. So I noticed that Cesaro is now wearing a mouthpiece. Maybe he didn't like having his teeth shoved up into his brain. Can't say as I blame him. So then we go backstage to Mickie James, who somebody decided to put Depends and a walker, and I think there might have been Ensure in there as well, in her locker room. It was Alexa Bliss who did it, with the the implication being that Mickie is an old lady. I really hope this is not going to be a redo of the Piggy James storyline that led to Mickie leaving the first time round. But that being said, so that led to her having her little confrontation with Alexa, with Nia in the way, which led to a match being made for Nia versus Mickie for Raw later on in the night. So, but not very far later on, mind you. We then went to a Bray Wyatt promo. Which these days, a Bray Wyatt means one thing. That is a break for you if you have an overactive bladder. So you must, you gotta love Bray Wyatt if you gotta go pee every 2 seconds, because he offers you a chance to do that, because that's about all his airtime's good for, is a piss break. That's all it's good for. So, we then went into Nia Jax versus Mickie James with Alexa Bliss at ringside. And, believe it or not, Mickie might have had the best showing against Nia that we've seen out of anybody thus far, really. Mickie had Nia, and she didn't have her because of, slipping on a banana peel or any stupid shit like that. No, she had her off a DDT, and she had her. And, of course, Alexa broke up the pinfall, causing disqualification. And then when Alexa tried to get the beat down on Mickie laid her out with a kick. So Mickie definitely looking strong, and Alexa looking desperate. So that's babyface heel right there. It's 101. It's perfect. So, moving from there, we went into a backstage interview with Enzo Amore, in which Enzo just kind of stood there and looked around with this faraway look in his eye, and, you know, his eye looked like a crackhead bags under his eyes, and he didn't say a damn word. I don't really know what the point to this was. So, from there we went into Mickie James, who was stopped for an interview, and the interview was actually interrupted by Kurt Angle, who made the announcement that at TLC we will have Mickie James versus Alexa Bliss for the Women's Championship. Now, as happy as I am for Mickie that she's going to get this high-profile match, I highly doubt she's going to win, because Asuka is coming. Asuka will debut at TLC. Asuka is coming. Asuka's going to be making a beeline right for that Women's Championship, and the person it makes the most sense for her to beat is Alexa Bliss. Alexa is the top heel. It only makes sense. Also, whatever type of match it is at TLC, odds are it will be a match that does not have disqualifications. Generally speaking, the matches at TLC, the event TLC, they don't have disqualifications, which means that Alexa will most likely have Nia there to ensure that she wins. So, unless, of course, they want to have Nia turn on Alexa and thus turn face. But it doesn't make sense for the biggest person in your division to be a babyface, because how the hell are you supposed to get heat on them? You know, how do you have a giant babyface? You know, how are you supposed to ever believe they're actually in trouble or actually in danger? It doesn't make sense. So, you know, it doesn't make sense. Nia makes sense as a heel. She doesn't make sense as a babyface. She just doesn't. So, moving on from there, we had the interview with Roman Reigns. He was asked about what happened to Seth and Dean. Roman didn't really seem all that concerned about Seth and Dean. He said they're big boys, they'll be okay, is basically what he said. He was focused on winning the Intercontinental Championship from Miz. So, we then went to the ring. And, I mean, as I'm sure you know, October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I think they call it. So one of the things that WWE does is, you know, in addition to all of their superstars wearing pink and promoting the breast cancer awareness, and in addition to them turning one of their ring ropes pink again to create awareness, they also, you know, they work with Susan G. Komen, which does a lot of work for the betterment of breast cancer survivors and whatnot. That's what the entire organization exists for. So, and if you're going to get on me about where their money actually goes, I have no clue. I didn't look into it. I just know what they showed me on the TV, so don't shoot the messenger here. Dana Warrior was in the ring with all of the divas and with 3 breast... Alright, I have no clue. Cancer survivors, and they gave the breast cancer survivors their own championship belts. It looks like the women's championship, except it's pink in the center instead of red. You know, it's a nice gesture. It was a nice thing to do. It's great. I have one tiny little issue, and it has nothing to do with them honoring breast cancer survivors. That is fine. I got no issue with that. I want to know why the heels are in the ring. Why are the heels in the ring? Okay? They're the bad guys. You really you have the bad guys and the good guys standing side by side for something like this. Just have the baby faces in the ring. There's no need to out your bad guys as good people. I know that some of you might be scratching your head and telling me, hey, Ken, kayfabe's dead. Yes, I understand kayfabe is dead. Okay? But you don't stop your movie in the middle of an action scene to show that your villain is actually a good guy. So why would you do it in the middle of a show? The fact that they're not actually shit heels in real life is fine. I think we're all smart enough to know that. But they didn't need to have the heels in the ring. They didn't need to. They could have just had the babyface divas in the ring, and it would have been fine. Also, it didn't have to just be divas in the ring. If I remember correctly, last year they had superstars in the ring as well. I believe Titus O'Neil was out there because his mother was a breast cancer survivor, so it's a very, very close subject for him. So, but in either case, it's a very, very small thought on my part, and let's be honest, nobody at the WWE gives a damn what my thoughts are anyways. So, moving on from there, we go into Roman Reigns versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, Roman did a smart thing. Roman decided to take out Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel before the match even gets started. That way you can have Miz one-on-one. Alright? And Miz, Miz was definitely fighting from underneath the whole time. Miz was clearly at a disadvantage. And by the end, Roman had Miz dead to rights. Until, inexplicably, for some reason that I simply do not understand, other than the fact that they're all bad guys, Cesaro and Sheamus decided to yank Roman out of the ring, causing him to win by disqualification, but not win the championship. And then Cesaro, Sheamus, and The Miz decided to beat Roman into the ground. So, from there, we went into the a Finn Balor promo. After we got back from break, Balor goes out to the ring. He cuts himself a nice little promo calling Bray Wyatt a coward and this, that, and the other thing. And the illegitimate child of Santa Claus and Dr. Seuss then got on the Titantron and proceeded to spew, nursery rhymes from some heroin-fueled nightmare that he's having. And I have no idea what he's freaking talking about. Talking about pulling back a bow. You're not Green Arrow. You're too fat. It's not happening, brother. Sorry. Moving on from there. Enzo Amore comes out to the ring, and he cuts his promo. Once again, it's all about being money. It's all about being a star. It's all about running his mouth. Yada, 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 yada. Neville and the Cruiserweights come out. They have Enzo in the ring. He's cornered. Enzo reveals that he got himself a new clause. All right, and this clause says that if any of them touch him, not only do they not get shots at the title, but they lose their jobs. So basically, Enzo's acting like a sniveling little bitch, and Kurt Angle puts a stop to it because he comes out and he says, "Yeah, okay, that's true for all of them, but it's not true for our newest acquisition." And he brings out Kalisto. Kalisto hits the ring. Kalisto levels Enzo. And then we, that's pretty much the end of that. We then go backstage for the last few moments to Roman Reigns holding his ribs and crying like a baby. And Dean comes in and hands him a blanket, and Seth comes in and hands him a pacifier. And apparently we're going to get a Shield reunion, because it's going to take two of them to change his fucking diapers. So that was how they ended Raw. I'm being facetious. They did not actually come to change his diaper. I'm just being an asshole because I don't like him. But Seth and Dean did come into the locker room for a show of solidarity, and we do appear to be getting a Shield reunion, which, did anybody ask for that? I didn't ask for that. I did not. That was not on my Christmas list. So, that being said, that was the end of Raw. Moving into SmackDown, they started SmackDown with a moment of silence as well. And like I said, WWE is very good at the way they handle tragedy and bringing people together. So, after the moment of silence, we had a Shinsuke Nakamura interview in the ring, which was interrupted by the Singh brothers. And while Jinder was distracted, Jinder attacked him from behind. So, and beat him down. That being said, our first match of the evening was Carmella and Natalya versus Charlotte and Becky. Natalya and Carmella won the match. Natalya causing Charlotte to tap out to the sharpshooter. So, Natalya with the momentum leading into Hell in a Cell. I would imagine that means good things for Charlotte at Hell in a Cell, but we'll talk about predictions at the end of the show. So, After that, we got Bobby Roode versus Mike Kanellis. This was a blink and you'll miss it match with Roode as the victor. And then Dolph comes out to bitch and complain. And Roode, Roode and Dolph are going to have a match at Hell in a Cell. And, it's just like I stopped listening. I didn't want to listen to Dolph bitch. I am looking forward to seeing Bobby Roode kick Dolph's ass all over the arena. That'll be nice. So then the Usos cut their promo on the New Day. And naturally, the New Day comes out to ruin a perfectly good Uso promo with their gyrating. I am so tired of the gyrating gaggle of goofs. They're a babbling, bumbling bunch of baboons, and I am sick and tired of seeing them on my television. Try saying that 10 times fast, by the way. It's not easy. So, that being said, we then had a Jinder Mahal promo backstage trying to hype up the title match because as of right now, the title match for the WWE Championship is being out-hyped by both the tag team match for the tag titles and the Kevin Owens Shane McMahon match. So they definitely need to try. They definitely needed to try and hype up that WWE title match. That being said, we then went into Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin, and Corbin looked fairly dominant. Dillinger managed to steal a win, which left Corbin furious. AJ then came on the Titantron and, told Corbin, I couldn't pass up a chance to watch you squander another opportunity. So they were trying to, again, just more build up because they have a match this Sunday for the United States Championship. And then we come back from break and Dana Warrior is in the ring again. So they're doing the same thing they did on Raw, the same thing on SmackDown that they did on Raw. Honoring cancer survivors, and it's watching this, you actually realize the women's division on SmackDown is actually like 5 people smaller than the women's division on Raw because they have the entire women's division out there. They've only got like 5 or 6 girls in the women's division on SmackDown. So, and once again, they have heels and baby faces side by side, which I'm not going to go through that whole spiel again, but it is nice that the WWE is doing their part to try and bring awareness to ways to help people who are suffering from this debilitating disease. So, moving on. Aiden English and Rusev were in the ring when we came back from they're showing those catch-up things to catch you up in case you haven't been watching. But that's what my show's for, right? So, English and Rusev in the ring. Promo being cut. Randy Orton interrupts. Orton comes down. Orton has his match with Aiden English, and Orton wins. That's not really a surprise. What the whole point of this is because it's Orton versus Rusev at Hell in a Cell. Rusev makes like he's going to go into the ring to attack Orton from behind, and Orton, call it instinct, call it whatever, call it him knowing what it said in the script. He, turned around and dropped and was face to face with Rusev, and Rusev backed out. So it's basically to show that Randy is ready and Rusev is cowardly. We know these things already. So, alright, then we go backstage. Shane McMahon making his way out to the ring. Sami Zayn stopping Shane, trying to talk sense into him as if Sami Zayn knows anything about sense. Shane comes out to the ring. He calls out Kevin, and Kevin is nowhere to be found, apparently. So Shane completely trashes him on the microphone, leading Kevin to come out through the crowd. Kevin, however, refuses to actually come to the ring, and Shane goes out after him, out into the front of the building where they had a section roped off by a merchandise table for them to fight in. Having it roped off is like a big clue that this was already supposed to happen. Like, is it too much to ask for just a little realism? Just a little. Come on. Anyways, Shane and Kevin are brawling out there, and Kevin puts Shane through a table, goes back to the ring, talks some shit. Shane comes back, Shane gets beat up some more. He gets headbutted, he gets pop-up powerbombed, and he gets left lying in the middle of the ring while Kevin makes his way out, and that is how they ended SmackDown. So real quick, before we start talking about Hell in a Cell, I'm going to go over 205 Live and NXT. So 205 Live opened up with a promo from Kalisto, which I only stood half of because only half of it was in English. So I don't speak Spanish, sorry. So anyways, Enzo comes out, you know, and he runs his mouth. I thought I was tired of listening to Enzo talk when he was with Big Cass. Holy crap. It's gotten worse. It's gotten so much worse. So that being said, we did eventually get to a match after Enzo was done dropping references that nobody freaking understood. We got to Kalisto's debut on 205 Live versus Daivari, which, surprise, surprise, Kalisto won. Okay? After a little presentation there, then Drew Gulak comes out, cuts his promo, tries to continue his slideshow. If they keep going like this, with him only getting one slide out and then being interrupted, well, then he's never going to get through all 200 and some odd of these slides. So, and some of us want to know what he's got to say, goddammit. So, after that, Mustafa Ali interrupts because they have a match. I don't really care for Mustafa Ali. I'm not a fan of the character, and I'm really not that. I don't really like watching him work. He's not. I mean, he's an aerial artist, yes, but so is everybody else on fucking 205 Live, just about, you know. And personally, I like ground-based attacks better. So, you know. Anyways, moving on. Ali wins the match, which is complete and utter horseshit. Yes, Tozawa spent the entire freaking match up on the stage doing his goddamn ha chant, distracting Drew Gulak. So, but that's not really an excuse. Gulak needs to focus better. But anyway, so Ali wins the match, and Tozawa goes to the ring just to rub it in Gulak's face. We then had an interview with Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick, in which he said that he was ashamed for the way he behaved, attacking the Cruiserweight champion the way he did with everybody else. So, you know, he's kissing up. Whatever. Don't care. Moving on from there, Cedric Alexander, attacks the Brian Kendrick during his interview, injuring his leg. We then go to Jack Gallagher versus Cedric Alexander. Match was going well until Cedric Alexander cowardly decided to get himself disqualified by striking Gallagher with William III. So he beat the man with an umbrella. I mean, can you get any more cowardly than intentionally getting yourself disqualified for beating a man with a damn umbrella? Like, seriously. Okay, so Alexander beats down Gallagher. Kendrick comes out to try and help Gallagher and manages to get Gallagher away. And that was how they ended the matchup. That's how they ended 205 Live. We then moved into NXT. So NXT opened with Ruby Riott, which, who the hell lets her out of the house looking like that? Holy crap. Do you own a mirror, lady? Holy shit. Oh my god, your parents must be so damn proud. Ruby Riott has a match with Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Alright. Nikki Cross comes out of the crowd about halfway through, decides to take a place on the ring apron to be Ruby's tag team partner. Ruby begrudgingly tags Nikki Cross in. Cross beats up on Peyton Royce and Nikki Kay and then tags in Ruby, and Ruby gets the win. Kind of like what happened like 2 weeks ago. So, the moral of the story is here is Ruby Riott cannot win a match without Nikki Cross, apparently. So, that being said, we then had an interview with Lars Sullivan, who I love watching Lars Sullivan work. This guy's fantastic. And he goes on to tell people, you know, my opponents are afraid of me because I supposedly have this uncontrollable rage. They should be afraid, but not because my rage is uncontrollable, but because I'm never not in control. So it was a very, very good line. He sounded very, very intelligent. He used some big words that not sure everybody watching understood. But that's neither here nor there. So, that being said, we then went into a match. We were supposed to go into a match. Lio Rush making his debut was supposed to be against Aleister Black, but as Aleister Black makes his way to the ring, Velveteen Dream attacks Lio Rush, lays him out, blows kisses at Aleister Black, and does his very best to try out for being the 4th member of the New Day with hip gyrations, which Black really never even acknowledges the Velveteen Dream, which is funny, actually. As the Velveteen Dream was walking away from the ring, he was screaming, "Acknowledge me!" Like, seriously, dude. He's not that into you. Get over it. It's sad. It's just sad, okay? That being said, we go from there to a women's match. Kira Sane. I put the Y on the wrong damn name. Kira Sane was the woman who won the Mae Young Classic. And she had her debut match on NXT against a woman named Aaliyah. I was kind of in and out for this match as I was trying to get some paperwork out, but that's neither here nor there. Sane won the match. So Sane, of course, is going to be part of the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Women's Championship. And seeing as how she was the one who won the Mae Young Classic, I think it's at least plausible, that they plan on putting the title on her as a way of cementing the new era for the NXT Women's Division. But I'm not putting any money on that because, obviously, we have no idea. So, moving on from there into the main event, which was Roderick Strong versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT Championship. This was a long match. This match was like 20-25 minutes long. And it was a good match. It was very, very good. Roderick Strong is a great performer, and Drew McIntyre is on fire. He's better than he's ever been. And Drew McIntyre won the match. And after the match was over, the two shared a respectful handshake, and Strong makes his way back up the ramp as Drew celebrates. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly come out on the stage. They say some things to Roderick Strong that we cannot hear, and then they walk away. And Drew McIntyre did not look very happy at all as Roderick Strong left. So and in case you didn't know this, the whole Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly, the whole basis for that team is they were all Ring of Honor performers, as was Roderick Strong. So we may or may not see them try and recruit Strong into their order. We will see what happens with that. Okay, so, and that was the end of NXT. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the pay-per-view this Sunday, Hell in a Cell. Now, I will be going live for this pay-per-view the same way I did for No Mercy. I plan on going live. You guys can enjoy the show with me, but leading up to it, I want to just talk about the matches that they have announced and what I think may or may not happen with these matches. First and foremost, this is kind of a throwaway. It's Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros. Well, first off, Gable and Benjamin are going to win that match. But the team of Gable and Benjamin is not long for this world. I have no idea how long Shelton Benjamin is planning to put up with Chad Gable, but make no bones about it, Benjamin's going to get tired of being in a tag team. He did not come back to the WWE to be put in a tag team. So I do see Benjamin turning on Gable sooner rather than later. The Hell in a Cell match, Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. I'm not completely convinced that this isn't going to be the main event of Hell in a Cell. It might be the main event. I'm not saying it should be, but it might be. Personally, not only do I think that Shane McMahon should win, I think Shane McMahon will win. especially seeing as how we just saw Kevin leave Shane laying. If you analyze WWE booking, a lot of times right before you head into a pay-per-view, whoever seemingly has the momentum for some inexplicable reason loses. So wrap your mind around that one for a moment. But as far as the WWE title match between Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura, I think I talked about this a little bit last week. I would like to see Shinsuke win. I just don't know if Vince has enough faith in Shinsuke being a bankable star for him to put the title on him. So I'm conflicted because I would like to see Shinsuke win the title. I just don't know how probable that is. But that being said, we then have the New Day versus the Usos in a Hell in a Cell match for the tag team titles. Now, a lot of this is going to have to do with which New Day member gets left outside of the cell. Because they can't have all three of them in the cell, because then it's a friggin' handicap match. I want to see the Usos win. I'm confident the Usos will win, unless, of course, you know, I mean, maybe the Usos took turns using swapping the knee pads around to make Vince happy so that Vince decides to let them keep the belts. I don't know. Personally, I would like to see the Usos win the match. I've been over the New Day for about 3 years now. I've like I said, gyrating gaggle of goofs, babbling, bumbling bunch of baboons. I'm not having it. I'm done. I hate the freaking New Day. That being said, moving on. Natalya versus Charlotte. Now this one gonna get a little tricky because while I would like to see Charlotte win, I also think Charlotte will win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy win. I think it's going to be a war, and I think just maybe Carmella might cash in on Charlotte. So I don't think Charlotte's title reign is going to be very long, and I think that next Tuesday when SmackDown comes on the air, I think we're going to have a new women's champion, and I think it's going to be Carmella. So that is what I think, and I'm going out on a limb there, but that's what I think's happening. So AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin for the U.S. title. As much as I love watching AJ wrestle, and as much as I'd like to see him win at the same time, the United States title is a good launching point for Baron Corbin. He's not ready for the WWE Championship. So putting the U.S. title on him might be a good idea. Also, putting the U.S. title on Corbin and putting the U.S. title on Corbin frees AJ up to go one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE title, which the American fans would, I'm sure, love to see Shinsuke versus AJ. You know, it's I've seen some footage from the matches they had in Japan. It's, you know, if you'll pardon the pun, it's phenomenal. It's fan-freaking-tastic. So I don't see WWE not taking advantage of that. All right, so then we have these two matches. Obviously, these were not in order because I highly doubt that Orton versus Rusev is the main event. But as far as Rude versus Ziggler, I'm pretty sure Rude's going to win that match. Although I am curious as to what crazy-ass entrance Ziggler might do, or who he may disrespect on his way to the ring this time. I don't know. Anyways, and then, of course, Orton versus Rusev. I'm pretty sure Orton's going to win that match. I don't think Rusev is very long for this company. They're not doing shit with him. And he's, I mean, does anybody still care what they do with Rusev? I don't care what they do with Rusev. Like, seriously, like, I don't care. So, that being said, I cannot wait for Hell in a Cell. And I cannot wait for TLC. So, that being said, I will see you guys on Sunday for Hell in a Cell. I am Ken Carnage, and until next time, remember, Carnage is right away.